Some were newly married and some were elderly couples, so well adjusted to each other that they looked and talked alike. But many were couples very much like my husband and me, with children in various stages of growth, a home to pay for, career and church callings added to the challenges of living. There was a happy time when I naively thought that every temple marriage automatically continued happily ever after. But I've come to realize that all marriages are not equal. Throughout the church, we can find marriages ranging from those charged with wonderful fulfillment to those filled with bitter disappointment. Marriages have their ups and downs, times of great contentment and personal growth, yet other times of frustration and lack of growth. So, what makes for a strong marriage? The answers are as varied as the people who give them. Spend time together one evening every week. Always think of your partner before yourself. Take occasional time away from children and responsibilities. Never go to bed angry. Make time for evening to talk to each other. Marry the right person. Be the right kind of husband or wife. Love unselfishness. Continue courtship, open communication, righteousness. These all make a difference in marriage. But I'm convinced that success in marriage starts with trust. Juan Antonio, suspecting that his wife was unfaithful, had the idea of hiding in the closet to see what she was doing in his absence. In doing so, he was greatly surprised. Juan Antonio and Alicia had been working together for a couple of years in a party agency. They were both very close, and although at the beginning it was all about simple friendship as they shared, they ended up becoming more attached to each other. They would go out to eat after working hours, go to the park, to movies, and organize small meetings. Their relationship was becoming more and more formal and committed. Juan knew that his girlfriend had a child from her ex-partner who took care of him while she was at the agency. Although she also worked, she did it from home and could have the child with her. It was something that, despite generating a certain distrust in him by having to accept this connection with the children's father, did not prevent him from being with her. One afternoon, as departure time approached, Alicia received a message that radically changed her mood. Juan, intrigued, wanted to know what had happened. It was nothing bad. I just got a reminder of debt and had a little stressed out, thinking about how to pay it. But I managed to resolve it. Don't worry about it. It was just a few words from Alicia before she left. Juan, the truth is that he didn't seem convinced, but nodded with a smile. He decided not to insist on his inquisitions so as to not bother her. The days passed, and then the relationship between them began to cool. She rarely accepted his invitations, and even when they were in the same place, there were times when they could barely manage to exchange greetings. No matter how hard he tried to make contact, to steal a smile from her, to rekindle the spark that had been there before, Alicia just avoided him. Bewildered by the situation, John began to question what he had failed to do. What was he doing wrong that she had taken such an attitude towards him? Willing to clear his head, he convinced her to have coffee in one of the free hours so he could talk. I've been wanting to sit down and talk to you for days. Lately you've been distant with me, and I wanted to know if I did anything to offend you or make you feel bad. No, I've just been a little scared, that's all. I'm very much in love with you. I hadn't told you, but I am. And if you're not, just tell me, I'll understand. He confessed by taking her by the hand, looking her straight in the eye. I'm very much in love with you too, she replied with emotion, but I have a son and many responsibilities. I'll never have time to give you all the attention you deserve. She ended by bending her face. How can you say that? He reproached her in surprise, taking her by the cheeks to raise her face. I've always known that your duties as a mother come first, and I respect that because it only affirms how wonderful you are. If we both love each other, it doesn't have to be an obstacle for us to be together. Months after that emotional conversation, the young people decided to get married. Their connection was splendid, and John's relationship with little Abel was wonderful. After a few weeks, however, Alice began to behave in an unusual way. Sometimes she'd be absent during work, and when John asked where she'd been, she'd give him vague arguments that he found unconvincing. He'd been promoted, so most days he had to work late into the night. She used to accompany him at first, but then she stopped. And although he claimed that the reason for this was fatigue, John suspected that something else was going on, driven by doubts. Seeing his wife again asking permission to go out in the middle of the day, John managed to follow her without her noticing. Noticing that the route he was taking was the one leading to his house, he took a shortcut to get there first so that he could hide in the closet to spy on her. Alicia entered the room and was about to find out, but her phone rang. Hi, I just got home. I had a snag. An excuse to get out early. I'll come over to your house in a few minutes. Don't worry, I'll bring dinner. Juan? I haven't told him anything yet. Leading a double life is exhausting, but I'm a little afraid of how he'll take it." Upon hearing it, John was filled with anger, but everything seemed to indicate that his conjectures were true. However, when he was about to come out of hiding to expose Alice, he saw how her eyes filled with tears, but there was a long silence. "How long? How long?" she asked, trying to conceal her crying. But she said the treatment was working, and the other one, I might be able to find a way to help you pay for it. "I understand. Abel's in soccer class today." Her voice just broke. "He told me today that he would train very hard so that he could go to the end of the year championship and see him play in the front row. I'm sorry. Yeah, he'll be happy to come visit you. I'll leave him with you and then I'll talk to Juan. Cheer up. See you later." When she hung up the phone, she couldn't stop crying her heart out. She wondered how she was going to explain to her son that his father would no longer be with him. It broke John's heart to see her like that. Alicia was a very loving woman, and it was the first time he'd ever seen her cry like that. That same night when she came home, Alicia told Juan everything that was happening. The father of her child had no family, and because of that and the love she had for him, she'd taken it upon herself to care for him and help him pay for his expenses, since he was diagnosed with a serious illness he'd been struggling with all that time. They both agreed not to say anything to their little boy, as they had faith that the treatment would work and everything would return to normal. Unfortunately, friends, it didn't, and although the doctors talked about an experimental treatment, it was very expensive. Moreover, Abel's father confessed to him that he no longer had the strength to continue fighting. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you from the beginning. It may seem silly, but I was afraid of what you might think and not understand, and you would leave me," Alice sobbed. "Forgive me, my love. I was always predisposed when you tried to talk about him, and my jealousy and insecurities only made me more closed. Now I understand why I was always so tired of going out and regretting the job, because the money didn't seem to be giving you up. I didn't give you the confidence that you had to carry all this on your own. I'm sorry, honey," Juan said, holding her to his chest to comfort her. "I'm here to support you. Together, we can get through this." A week later, Alicia's ex-partner passed away. With the help of a psychotherapist and the support of his mother and stepfather, Abel was able to assimilate his father's goodbye and understand that he would now continue to care for him from heaven. For their part, the couple became aware that relationships are based on communication and trust, when two people who love each other decide to be together and make a family. Fear, doubts, and lies should have no place between them, as they're the basis of all relationships. Their mutual support, understanding, solidarity, and respect.